This video is not going to be on NaNoWriMo stuff. It's actually just going to be a little bit of a rant based on a conversation I was just having with my hubby about Twilight and what we did not like about it. Now, I'm going to try to be respectful to the people who may like Twilight out there because I do get the appeal of it. I have not gotten through the books because I tried reading like the first page of the first book back in high school, and I was seriously disturbed by the lack of efficiency that Stephanie Meyers used in her writing style. How it could take a whole paragraph to get through explaining that somebody crumpled up a piece of paper and threw it at the back of somebody else's head in a classroom is beyond me, because that was one sentence right there. Anyway, that turned me off to that. However, I did have roommates at one point that made me watch the movies all the way through, and while there were many parts that are cringeworthy, I do see why there is an appeal to that storyline. I am not as bothered by the love triangle, which isn't a love triangle, it's a love V, because it's two people that love one person. It's not a this way motion. Like I've mentioned before, the only time I've ever seen an actual instance of a real love triangle is in Twelfth Night by Shakespeare. And that makes for some hilarious hijinks. By all means, have some more actual love triangles, not these stupid two guys love one girl or two girls love one guy thing. But anyway, the thing that I find disturbing, and I was explaining this to my husband about Twilight, or really any teen vampire romance drama thing, is that they're pedophiles. Okay, I don't care that you're in the body of a teenager and you're going to high school. You're 100 years old. She's 16. The reason why pedophilia is creepy is not the age thing, because once you're older, and if you're 20 and you're dating a 30-year-old, people might roll their eyes a little bit, but it's not like something that makes you want to puke. No, but if you're 16, regardless of whether or not he's in a teenage body and he's 100 years old, the reason why that's not acceptable is because this person is vulnerable and innocent, and they don't know anything about the world yet, and they're too easily manipulated, and it's screwed up for this person who knows exactly what the world's about and stuff, to date this other person. Like, that's why the Sookie Stackhouse novels didn't bother me. At least Sookie Stackhouse, even though she is relatively kind of an innocent person who doesn't know a lot about the world because of her condition, she can read minds, so she's kind of sheltered, because otherwise she'd be around too many people and it would mess her up. But those don't bother me, because at least she's a consenting adult who, like, can make actual decisions. She's not like a dumb 16-year-old. I think as a grown-up now, I see why teenagers find this appealing, because when you're a teenager, every boyfriend or girlfriend you get is the love of your life, and you're gonna be together forever, and when you break up, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you, and you get stomach ulcers because it's that upsetting that you've broken up with the love of your life. And now that I'm a grown-up, I've just been raked over the coals a couple of times, and I'm just like, no, it's not the end of the world. Get real. There's more people out there, and you'll fall in love again, because we've all done that a couple times by the time you get to 27, 28 years old. Hopefully you have. Otherwise, you're still under the impression that it's the end of the world when you're going to break up with somebody. And I don't think that makes for healthy relationships, because then you're just desperate and clingy if there's any hint that the relationship might be going wrong. But anyway, back on track here. If he's 100 years old and she's 16, several issues with this. One, pedo bear, big time. Secondly, there's going to be a major power imbalance here, brain-wise. I mean, he's gotten to high school like a gazillion times. It's like, you really think somebody who's gone to high school a gazillion times, has probably been learning stuff on the side, is going to find this lame 16-year-old girl who probably has like the mental range of basic makeup techniques as her only thing going on inside of her head, appealing at all. It's like, I feel bad for this guy. They're gonna get married, and then he's gonna find out what a fucking airhead this chick is. And then he's gonna be like, wow, this is really not fulfilling. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be better than it was. Anyway, it's like unfair to both parties. the other thing I have a problem with on this is they always have, in these teen drama vampire nonsenses, they always cast somebody who looks like they're easily 25 or so. And then they have this line of, oh, well, they have to go to high school still because otherwise people might ask questions as to why this teenager is not going to high school. And it's like, bullshit. That person easily looks like he could be in college or something. It's like, at least get somebody who's got a baby face or something to pull this, not some dark, brooding guy with a strong chin. It's like, I'm not finding that believable. This is bullcrap. And now I know that that doesn't really apply to books because you could imagine them looking younger, according to the book. But most teenagers have like acne and shit, or something that makes it obvious they're a teenager. They don't look like that. So if you're gonna write them to look like that or portray them to look like that in movies, I'm not finding it believable that they're going to high school to keep up their cover. I'm gonna think that they're just a creeper who wants to keep going to high school and hit on high school chicks. And here's my idea. I would love to write, now this would probably not have the material to write a whole book on this, but I would love it if somebody would write a story that was a subversion of this trope, where the vampire guy really does look like he would have to go to high school because he's got like acne or something. And he's going to high school and he's really miserable there. He's not interested in any of the chicks. And this one chick who's like a crazy chick who's really into these obnoxious paranormal vampire romance novels finds out that he's a vampire and she like sets her sights on him. And it would be like a thriller, but with the vampire guy as the victim. Because this psycho chick figures out that he's a vampire and he's like, oh man, my cover's blown. And she basically like tries to blackmail him and tries to trick him into falling in love with her. And he's like having none of it and he's just like, no, ew, that's gross. Maybe he could be like gay too. That would be hilarious because then he would be just like grossed out by her immensely, aside from the fact that he'd also be like, no, I'm not going for some kid. Like, you're like 16. That's disgusting. But it would be an added layer of funniness if he was like grossed out with her because he's not interested in girls. I don't know if that's insensitive to say, but I think that would be funny if that was an added reason why he has no interest in her whatsoever. But she keeps pushing herself on him and like threatening to reveal his secret if he won't go out with her. And then it like comes down to like a scene where she's like torturing him with sunlight or something, because I hate when vampires aren't like allergic to the sun. That bothers me. And she's like trying to get him to comply with her wishes or something. And it comes down to where she tries to like kill him in his sleep by staking him in the heart or something. I think that would be a hilarious subversion of this, where the teenage girl who's all into this paranormal romance garbage attacks him and he's trying to get out of it without, I mean, you'd have to have a compelling reason why he doesn't just up and leave or like kill this chick. I mean, I guess he's trying to turn over a new leaf and be a good guy, but at that point I'm like, just kill her. Like, she's a psycho. Anyway, that's my rant. There are many, many other things I could point out with my problems with Twilight, but I don't want this to go too long, and I'm sure there are other videos with far more compelling reasons why Twilight is kind of... I mean, it's okay. It's okay for what it is. I mean, it's a teenage paranormal romance. It's chocked full of melodrama and nonsense, but that's appealing to teenagers. What I don't get is why, like, middle-aged housewives like it at all. I mean, I guess maybe they're living vicariously and trying to remember their teenage years or something. I don't know. I get why they like 50 Shades of Grey. I can see that one because at least it's two consenting adults in that one. But when it's a teenage girl and like a 100-year-old guy, the fact that he's in a teenage body is just, it doesn't make it okay. It's still creepy. Anyway, that's the end of that. I'm going to let you go, and you guys have a good day.